It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
Speaking of Des the Vet, sounds like an old TV show from years ago, doesn't it? Hey, let's go to Des the Vet.
Well, my favourite old TV show from years ago was the old All Creatures Great and Small show with Siegfried and James.
And they
the
revived
two
it,
old
actually.
Yorkshire vets.
Yeah.
And they revived it, and it's still a great show.
Yeah, it is. The revised show is quite good. It's on RTE, I think, at the moment. It's quite a good show. You're absolutely right. Anyway, a very good morning to you, sir.
Thanks, John. Great to be here as usual.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Now, St. Patrick's weekend is on the way. It's kind of festival week is what they call it these days. The build-up to St. Patrick's. And Cheltenham is starting too. You're going to have a bet?
Too. Well, look, I think State Man should win the Champion Hurdle. I'm hoping Martin Brazel's good horse wins the Gold Cup on Friday, but I doubt if I'll have a bet. I just enjoy watching the horses these days. It's a long time since I've had a bet.
Yeah. And the good thing about that is you're still up to speed on it, as the man says.
I'm still up to speed. I love racing. I love horse, particularly National Hunt, and I love to go to the races and watch the horses. But no, I don't have a bet.
And
you know what? When you have a bookie in here encouraging people, telling people what horses to back, that's a bit like the gamekeeper and the poacher, isn't it?
It is indeed the gamekeeper and the poacher. I love it. Yeah, it is a bit like that as well. Okay, and one final thing is, did you see the Oscars? Did you see any of it last night or the other night?
Just saw a little clip of Killian's interview, his little acceptance speech and so on, and it's great, fantastic for the Irish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's good fun as well. And there were some dogs there involved that were sitting in the audience. Guest of honour.
What they guest of honour? Yeah, right. Well trained dogs. Crufts was on, by the way, John, at the weekend.
Yeah, that's
saw some
really
very well trained dogs there.
Yeah.
That's as big as ever. Delighted to see an Australian Shepherd was the overall winner. Weimaraner featured strongly. Labrador Retriever featured strongly. So Crufts got their priorities right at the end, and they chose lovely, functional, old-fashioned working dogs to give the top prizes to. There was a bit of controversy there earlier in the week because they gave a top prize and a group-winning prize to a French bulldog with all of the facial deformities that we talk about that these heavily inbred dogs have in terms of their bad breed. Yeah. They picked a French bulldog almost in defiance, in contravention of veterinary recommendations, and they handed two top prizes early in the week to this lovely little French bulldog called Elton. But the problem with Elton is that his breathing, he had a lot of facial difficulties, which you wouldn't like to see passed on to the next generation.
Because that's what happens. They keep on passing them on.
If you give dogs like that awards and award them prizes and they win shows, then people will breed from them, and then
social media goes through the roof.
And people love these dogs with the squashed faces, and they look cute. The problem is they have breathing difficulties, they're not healthy, and they shouldn't be bred from. So as I say, Crufts got themselves in deep water, and there was controversy earlier in the week about their choice of dogs that they were given prizes to, but they recovered at the end, and they gave the top prizes to two lovely dogs.
Okay, good stuff indeed. Okay, Crufts is always good fun to watch. Anyway, it is. Okay, onward bound. So we're talking today and the run into St. Patrick's weekend, as we said, but we are going to be taking a look at kind of animal culture, I suppose, when it comes to it, and the native dog breeds of Ireland.
Yeah, because there's a lot of dog shows on St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so Jim Dog, myself and A Pet's Life, we're sponsoring a dog show on St. Patrick's Day, 11:30, Hopkins Garden, Monasterevin. Just a quick word about that for local people around Monasterevin area. There's a dog show, 11:30, Hopkins Garden. Okay, but what I wanted to mention today were the native dogs of Ireland. There are actually 9 native dog breeds in Ireland, John.
Excluding the Great Dane.
Excluding the Great Dane. The Irish Wolfhound is the most famous, of course. It's still a rare breed. There aren't enough of them about. They're recovering in their popularity, and they're a lovely dog, the Irish Wolfhound. The tallest dog in the Guinness Book of Records, I think, an Irish Wolfhound, the tallest dog recorded. Okay. Yeah. So one of the 9 breeds of Ireland, the Kerry Beagle, there's an unusual one, another rare breed we don't see too often. So they're the 2 hounds, or the hunting dogs, that are native to Ireland. Then there are a few gun dogs that are native to Ireland. You have the Irish Water Spaniel, the Irish Setter, and the Irish Red and White Setter.
Okay, so the red setter then is actually Irish.
An Irish dog, yeah.
Fabulous dog.
Yeah, there you go. They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
There are about 4 or 5 terrier breeds that are native to Ireland as well.
My daughter was only talking about that during the week. She said her boyfriend's got red setters. And
red setters.
She said she just loves them.
Remember the old bus Éireann ad from, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 years ago? There was a great bus Éireann ad of the Irish red setter running from the farm to meet the bus.
Yeah.
The young boy getting off the bus on his way home from college back home to the farm for the weekend.
What are they like as pets?
It was a lovely ad. They're very loyal, they're very quiet, they're very calm, they have a beautiful temperament, they're a very placid dog. They need a few short runs in the day. Yeah. They're not as hyperactive as you might think. They exercise in bursts. So they are a lovely pet. Okay. And they're generally quite a healthy dog as well.
Okay, that's
the Irish setter, I'd recommend them as a pet.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. Keep going.
Terriers then, right?
Now, terriers,
there's a few terrier breeds that are native to Ireland. The Irish Terrier. The Irish Terrier is a wire-haired, red or fawn type of a little terrier. They're similar to the miniature Schnauzer, except obviously they're a different colour. But that body shape. And terrier obviously is a hunting dog as well. The Irish Terrier has a lovely history. They were a messenger dog in World War I, and they were noted for their loyalty and their bravery.
Okay.
Yeah, they would run through a hail of bullets to deliver a message.
Fair juice to them.
Fantastic dog.
Absolutely.
The Irish Terrier. Yeah. And sadly rare nowadays.
Okay.
Not as popular. Only a few hundred breeding pairs left.
We're only into 4 or 5 at this
No,
stage.
5. See, there's 9. There's 3 others. The Glenavermal Terrier, we've heard of that. We've heard of that one.
Yeah.
There's another one, the Irish soft-coated Wheaton Terrier. Hardly ever see those anymore. No. And the Kerry Blue.
Okay.
The last one. That's the last Irish breed.
Kerry Blue, I always thought was a mix of something else, wasn't it?
They were okay. So they were revived, and I think the Glenavermal and the Kerry Blue are closely related. They're probably descended from the same breed of origin.
Okay.
Now, the whole thing about these Irish breeds, I'm always saying that we need to remember with our pets that the majority of dogs that are family pets, house pets nowadays, they were working dogs. They were once working dogs. They have a function and they have a functional working instinct. So when we take on board a dog as a pet, we need to remember that we have to cultivate a lifestyle to suit the dog's genetics, to suit their instinct, to suit their natural needs. And most dogs need more stimulation, more socialisation, more exercise than we actually realise.
What I like about the dogs, some of the dogs that you've mentioned, is they are just family-friendly dogs as well, aren't they?
They are family-friendly, and the reason why is part of the reasons they're so family-friendly in a way is because of the working instinct that for generations, hundreds of years, they're biddable, they're obedient, they're loyal, and that's bred into them. Now, for instance, the Glenavermal Terrier and the Kerry Blue, they actually used to be used to pull the stones for milling corn.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Didn't know.
So they're a working breed, you would strap them on like a little donkey to a cart and they'd pull the milling stone.
And you mentioned retrievers or to a degree, but you know the way you see a black retriever or a black Labrador, they seem to be everywhere in Irish culture. Or is it just a case, where do they originate from?
They're an English breed originally. There are a lot of them. They are very popular in Ireland because of the tradition of hunting that goes all the way back. Golden retrievers. But no, they're an English breed, an English gun dog.
And to be honest with you, our neighbour, he does a bit of shooting as well, but he's got a beautiful black retriever stroke Labrador. I think it's more of a Labrador. And he only recently got an addition to it, which is a younger dog of a spaniel of which he can be used for chasing the birds and retrieving the birds and all that type of stuff later on. But I have to say the two dogs get on famously together. And
that's brilliant. Yeah. They're
really
again working dogs, both gun dogs, the retriever and the spaniel. So they're two dogs that are very loyal. They love human company. They love being part of the family, and they have simple enough needs. They just need to be kept busy and stimulated and given plenty of exercise. Lovely dogs.
Yeah, very good.
So nine native breeds, believe it or not, the Irish have, And There's probably only 3 or 4 that you'd see regularly. The Water Spaniel, the Setter, the Wolfhound, the Kerry Blue, we'll see a few of those. So sadly, they're rarer than they used to be. We talk about it St. Patrick's Day. Now, St. Patrick's didn't have a particular affinity to dogs or anything else like that. You know the old mythology about St. Patrick banishing the snakes?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a metaphor for banishing paganism.
Okay, I know that.
There you go.
Yeah. I came across something to do with a quiz night or something. I saw some question.
And further back than St. Patrick, in paganism itself, the Celtic mythology around animism is the belief that animals have a spirit, animals have a soul, and there's a little piece of nature, a little piece of a soul in everything in nature.
I wouldn't disagree. If your thinking is that there's a soul out there in a human, for example,
yes.
There's no reason why you couldn't be thinking, if you believe that element, there's no reason why you couldn't believe the other element. But there's something there as part of an animal, especially a dog, like, you know.
That's very much part of Irish culture all the way back in Celtic mythology. The idea that we're integrally linked to nature, and there's a link between humans and animals, and we should respect that link. Like, for instance, the mythology around the Fionn McCool and the two hounds.
Yes, that was the Irish Wolfhounds.
There you go, the Irish Wolfhounds. Fionn McCool and Bran and Sceolan.
Yeah.
They were said to contain the souls of two of his warrior friends, the two hounds. And the idea behind that was to teach people respect for animals.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing on a separate in Brehon law.
Yep.
In Brehon law, there was actually a law called Cúnracht, which is Irish for hound law.
Okay.
Right?
So what's the law?
Hound law was, if a person's dog defecates on their neighbour's property, right, the owner of that dog had to clean it up and had to supply under hound law, if your dog dirtied on the neighbour's property, right, you have to clean it up and you have to supply an equal amount in compensation, right, of either cheese or butter equal to the weight of the mess that you've had to clean up.
Okay, so hold on a second. So basically, if a dog comes in and poos in my garden, they have to give me what?
They have to give you equal the weight of that.
So equals you, because somebody's to go and bloody weigh it, didn't
Yes, equal the weight of it.
You're right.
In butter or cheese.
Butter and cheese.
According to Brehon law.
The next time I see that now.
Now, we should introduce that around Kildare a little bit. I wonder would it clean up the footpaths a bit?
Or the Curragh Kildare,
The Curragh,
absolutely, yeah. That's really good, actually. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, cool enough. You know, when you think about all those fabulous animals that we have, and the dogs and the cats, and we always talking about this every week, and the dogs themselves, what type of dogs, you know, and even including that list, and other dogs make great pets?
They all make great pets, but it really depends on your circumstances, on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you're an active person, then by all means, get an active breed. Get a hound or a gun dog or a terrier, and integrate that dog into your lifestyle, and make sure and the dog and yourself have plenty of exercise together. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Mary's on. She says she has a beagle who struggles with his weight. Any suggestions of the right foods, and what can we do? They struggle to do a bit of walking as well, beagles, don't they, because of the short legs?
Beagles are chunky little dogs, and they tend to gain weight. And they are a hunting dog. They're a very active dog. They can walk for miles. There's two parts to weight loss. The first is calorie deficit, which is eating a little bit less, and the second is exercise. There's only calories in versus calories out. It's a very simple equation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do need to increase that dog's exercise, little and often, is the best rule with regards to trying to increase your dog's exercise. 2 to 3 walks a day. And remember, they need a run as well as a walk in order to burn calories, get the heart rate up, get the heart rate pumping, get the dog panting and running, and elevate his heart rate, elevate his breathing. That's how you burn calories. That's how you lose weight. Yeah.
But is it just me, but something like a beagle now, and they're a nice looking dog and everything else, would you struggle with them as a pet, or are they nice and friendly, or what about health issues and stuff like that?
No, they're nice and friendly, and they're quite healthy.
Okay, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Second thing about the weight loss issue, a lot of people don't realise there's a huge difference between the different types of pet foods in terms of the calorie deficit, the calorie that's in the food. So that lady could be feeding her beagle the wrong food.
Right.
Okay, he might need to go on a light diet, a lower calorie diet. That way he won't be hungry. He'll be taking in extra fibre, extra roughage, enough to satisfy his appetite while hopefully burning the calories at the same time. And therefore he should lose weight, you know. Okay,
3 quick questions. They're all to do with cats, strange enough, even though we're talking about dogs. Is it okay to wash a cat with dog shampoo?
No, I would say not, actually.
I would agree with that one. I Googled that.
I wouldn't use a dog shampoo on a cat.
No.
Perhaps have a word with a groomer about what type of shampoo to use. The very gentlest baby shampoo on a cat. Your cat may not need to be shampooed at all. I would think very little washing is better for them.
Okay, and Kieran is on. They want to leave their 2 cats into a cattery. Any ideas how we go about doing that, and what are the benefits? There we go. The very good, perfect question for Desvo.
Okay, look, cats are not like dogs. They can't be just left while you're away, because cats will notice a change in routine. They'll notice that you're gone, and the likelihood is that your cat will get spooked, take fright and disappear.
Right.
So your cat is safer in a cattery rather than being left to fend for himself, being left to his own devices while you're away.
Even
He's
if
safer in a cattery.
even though, say, a cat has kind of got the op and everything else, you know the way they say, neutered, and they don't really travel from home. But are you saying that would you see it all the time?
See it all the time.
Yeah,
If you disappear for a week, even albeit there to leave the neighbour feed the cat, if the cat is out around the garden and you disappear yourself for a week, there's a good chance a cat will disappear too.
And you know what? I don't disagree with that one, because we did it over the years ago, 10 or 12 years ago when we went to France. Now, our neighbours fed our cats at the time, and there was other neighbours that kept an eye on them because they had cats. And our cats would used to follow them over to their house, if that makes sense to you. But at the same time, we came back one particular year, I remember, where one cat was there waiting for us, and the other cat we didn't see for another 4 or 5 days, where he toddled off somewhere else, probably to get a bit of food and love and attention.
Yeah, now there are lots of good catteries where your cat will be safe. The idea behind the cattery setup is that they have their own space. They're inside in a little room or a pen to themselves. Generally, these pens are set up in a kind of a 3D level. Cats like to be able to climb up onto a height and perch and look around them. They need to have their litter tray and their food and their water in different places at different levels.
Okay.
So they're in a secure little space of their own, like a little small room or a cubicle, and they're safely warm and tucked in and secured in that place.
What's the average size of a cattery? Because obviously the cats like living alone anyway, so I mean they've no problem going into one particular area.
Yeah.
And living in an area, and I presume like in your places you probably have the stuff that they can climb up on.
Yeah, we've a little cattery at Gym Dog where we can just take about 10 to 12 cats at a time, and they're walk-in cubicles of about 2 to 3 metres squared.
Okay.
And they have the full height of a small room.
Okay, right.
Where their litter tray is on the bottom, their food is on one level, their water's on another level, and their bed's on another level. So they can hop up and down. Up and down off a number of shelves.
And they're just left to their own devices and whatever. And is it that good? The cats, they get peeled off of that?
No, they adapt to it quite well. Providing the environment is secure and warm and quiet.
Yes.
They'll be happy enough.
Cats sleep most of the time anyway, yeah.
They will. You'll find that they'll settle in, they'll get their bearings, they'll sleep. And as I say, as long as the environment is secure and quiet, they'll be happy.
Okay, another cat question, and it's to do with back to shampooing. Can you actually groom cats?
Yeah, you can groom cats.
Right.
Now, the long-haired cats do need to be groomed.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to be sedated. If they haven't gotten used to it as kittens, then by the time they get to 1 or 2 years old, they don't like it. We might have to sedate them. But your long-haired cats often would need to have the mats clipped out and would need to be dematted around the head and ears and tail area and so on, and possibly, as I say, perhaps have the mats clipped out from under the tummy.
Yeah. Okay, regarding getting a dog, this was actually more a statement more so than a question, but I understand. We lost our little dog at the weekend, rest in peace. It broke our hearts in our household. It was absolutely heartbreaking. Think carefully if you're getting a pet. Remember, a pet is for life, it's not just for show. That's a valid point.
You need to have quite a settled lifestyle and be able to plan ahead to accommodate yourself and the dog for the full lifetime of the dog.
I know we were talking prior to Christmas and we were talking after Christmas about people who got animals for that Christmas period, and we always kind of discuss it, and it always comes up as a matter of fact. Are you getting more, or is there more dogs coming in now that we're into March?
Yes.
More coming back?
Yes. I had a couple of cases this week of dogs that had been found straying on the Curragh, found straying on the road around Kildare, and brought into us to be checked for microchips and try and identify did they have an owner and all the rest of it. And Jackie and I in the office were in touch with the Dog Pound and the KSPCA a couple of times lately, trying to find homes and rehome a couple of strays. And what we're finding is, unfortunately, these places are full all the time, full to bursting. So the dog rescue, the dog stray population is at a crisis at the moment because of this overpopulation issue.
Okay.
So what seems to have happened is that a number of dogs were taken on board, taken into families. People got dogs during lockdown, during COVID, which is now 3 and 4 years ago. A lot of those dogs were probably allowed breed and shouldn't have been allowed breed.
Yeah.
And that has led to a knock-on effect, a whiplash effect, a multiplication effect. And now there are big numbers of strays out there, and unwanted dogs.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but it seems the only good thing and the only positive thing, do you reckon that there's more being returned and there's more kind of sent back to the pounds because now they know they feel less guilty because they're not being euthanized? Yeah,
but the problem is that the pounds are fending them off in the terms that they're full. So someone will ring up and they're being told, sorry, we're full. Now, if you tell someone who's decided they're desperate, they've made their mind up,
they're going to just offload
sorry,
the
we're
dog.
full. Yeah, they're offloading the dog.
One way or the other.
One way or the other, unfortunately.
And they're just
ending
hoping
up on
that
the
it's
road.
going to be rescued or
yeah,
whatever.
They're ending up on the road and the guards are picking them up and Good Samaritans are picking them up and they're ending up arriving into the vets, and ultimately they end up in the shelters then anyway.
Yeah, and when I was even following some of the shelters, not just Kildare, but even in Laois and Offaly and around the surrounding areas as well, they're always crying out for help, they're always crying out for volunteers, and they're always kind of, in some cases you see dogs that are up for kind of adoption and they could be there 6 months, 9 months.
Yeah,
they're part of the family now.
I don't agree with that. So if they have a zero euthanasia policy, but that's creating a logjam.
Yeah.
In that they're full. And there are cases where some of these shelters have dogs there too long.
So do you have to be cruel to be kind?
I hesitate to say that.
That's a political question, I know, yeah.
Yeah, but you see, this is where, does the zero euthanasia policy work? Is it workable? If we have an overpopulation problem, then we have to neuter, and we have to figure out which ones are rehomable and which ones aren't, unfortunately. Now, the escape valve for this is that there are people willing to foster dogs for short periods of time until a home arises. And thankfully, most dogs that end up in shelters, it is possible to find a match for almost any dog.
OK, Mary was on. She says, we've had dogs in our household for the last 15 years, usually Labrador-type dogs or collies. I am now in my 70s, but would love to get a small dog, companion dog, as I am a widow. Any suggestions?
Yeah, any little small older terrier, or like a little older Shih Tzu, what type of dog, a toy dog or a terrier. I would say to that lady, definitely, do ring up the KWW SPCA.
Yeah.
I've spoken to them twice in the last couple of weeks about trying to take in strays, and they tell me they're full. So I'm sure there are little dogs there that would be ideal for your needs.
Okay, very good. Okay, that's a great conversation as all, and thanks for the insight into our own dogs that are part of our culture as well.
Yeah, lovely. You know the lovely bronze on the Curragh, Fionn McCool.
Yeah.
And the two hounds, Bran and Skeolan. The mythology behind that is that Fionn McCool married a wizard's daughter.
Yeah.
And the wizard owned the Hill of Allen. Right. And so Fionn did typical Irish tradition.
Absolutely.
He married into the farm.
Married into the land, yeah.
He did indeed, yeah. So the Hill of Allen is where he had his fort and is where he lived, as I say, because he married into the wizard's family. And the two hounds, Bran and Skeolan, were his hunting hounds. And legend has it that he sent them down from the Hill of Allen to hunt on the Curragh.
Very good.
Yeah,
great
so that's
story.
why the two bronzes are there.
Excellent. Well done on that. Okay, so we're running into St. Patrick's weekend. Des back with us the far side, Tuesday or Wednesday, probably next week at the bank holiday. We'll figure that one out.
Yes.
We'll put it up on our social media accounts. But either way, have a great one. Des, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, John.
Cheers.
It's a pet's life with Jim Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.